Spoilers for Undertale and Epic Mickey. Dark Souls introduced me to the concept that leaving a game unfinished could have an artistic meaning. For those unaware, in Dark Souls you play as one of many undead, beings cursed with eternal life. Plenty of undead act like any non-undead human would in the apocalypse. Seeking adventure, studying, hanging out in the only safe place left on the planet. But some are a bit more inhuman. If an undead loses the will to live, instead of dying, they go hollow, becoming mindless creatures who usually lash out violently at anyone who gets too close, for the rest of eternity. Narratively, you putting down the controller and or uninstalling the game means that you went hollow, as you lost the will to carry on the quest the game presented you with. This is only one of the more popular examples of this concept of quitting a game having greater meaning than just you not wanting to play the given game anymore. Player agency is what drives the experience in video games, so it's no wonder that games developers have thought to design with more metatextual player choices in mind. Unless your gaming setup includes a convoluted series of restraints and cleverly programmed tens units, you'll always have the option of turning off whatever game you're playing and never picking it back up. As previously detailed, Dark Souls fills this design space with an explicit in-universe outcome for the character you were controlling, but this is not the only route that games can take. Celeste, Getting Over It, and Nier Automata are all very different games, but they share a theme, that of persevering despite difficult challenges. To some degree, one could say that that's a theme shared by all games, but these ones focus on it as one of the main ideas they wish to convey through play. Here, to stop playing doesn't have an in-universe narrative meaning, but instead reflects on you, the player. If you give up despite these games trying to convince you that you should persevere, it means that you have failed to learn that lesson and caved to the struggle. This is not an inherently bad message to send. In life, there are times when people must struggle to make it through to the other side, but I do have my issues with it. Namely, no matter how high the in-universe stakes are, someone choosing not to beat a video game is not tantamount to refusing to persevere through any other challenges more broadly. In fact, one might stop playing a game so that they can devote more attention to their real-life issues. I've been yelled at enough for allegedly not trying as hard as I can or giving up too easily. I don't need to hear that from the art that I go to for fun as well. Again, these aren't bad games, and I don't think people who made them or play them are wrong. I simply think that this theme fails to resonate with me in particular. A game that I do resonate a great deal with, though, is Undertale, which combines both the in- and out-of-universe designs. There's a lot of fourth wall breaking in that game, but the part that's specifically relevant to this essay is near the end of the genocide route, wherein the player is chosen to kill every single enemy they have encountered. Once you reach that final hallway after killing nearly everyone else, Sans appears to you, and there is a fight. He says that he knows that you have the ability to redo the fight over and over again, so his tactic is the only thing that could reasonably stop someone so powerful as you. He frustrates you. The fight is not just hard, it's designed to be next to impossible without constant do-overs in order to memorize the patterns of his very strong and fast attacks. In-universe, Sans' goal is to make you so annoyed at the fight that you will give up and never play the game again, leaving him and all the other survivors to carry on in peace. This was the precise effect the fight did have on me. I tried it over and over for days, and eventually I realized I wasn't having fun, and I reasoned that I wasn't missing out on that much of the game anyway by quitting so far in, and so I did. The scared NPCs who escaped my murderous rampage won the day because Sans beat not Frisk, but me, and I learned that beating a video game isn't the most important thing in the world. The true pacifist ending plays with the concept of quitting the game too, but there it's more about not replaying, allowing the good ending everyone reached to be what the characters get to experience. For the record, at time of recording, my Undertale save file is still at the genocide route Sans fight, so maybe one day I will go back and play another true pacifist route to give all the characters a better happy ending. Who knows? Now, a fun thing about art is that meaning comes from both the artists and those who engage with their art. This means that you can craft your own meaning in the same way that you can craft your own experience of play, regardless of the intent of the artists. This is where I would have talked about Doki Doki Literature Club, but I'm mostly writing this for one specific person, and she hasn't played the game yet, so moving on. So one time I played Epic Mickey for a few days, and I got to what I assume is the main hub town, met a friendly talking telephone who's holding another guy's wrench, and started the side quest to find all the power boxes, whatever those are. So this side quest has two telegraphed outcomes. Either you find all the power boxes and the telephone gives up the wrench willingly, or you can choose to let the other guy, who I have just verified is named Gremlin Prescott, into the house and take the wrench back by force. I tried very hard to find all those power boxes. I used a guide even. But even with outside help, I wasn't able to find them all, and so ultimately I let the gremlin into the house and hoped the result wouldn't be so bad. It was bad. Once I went back to check on the telephone, I found that it was dead, and there was nothing I could do to repair it. I talked to everyone in town. I looked up if there was some way to fix this, but no. At some point in there I had saved, or there was an autosave or something, because reloading didn't help either. My telephone friend was dead and it was all my fault. Unable to bear the burden of my sins, I turned off the game and I've never played it again. Honestly, I think I cried that day about it. I knew on some level I could restart the game and try harder on that quest and save the phone from being murdered, but I was way too distraught. So yeah, the game got so intense from my own choice that it caused me to leave it behind, like so many other bad choices I'd made. I'm not like mourning a character I knew existed for less than a day the way that I would a person, but feeling responsible for the death of even a character, all because I just didn't try a little harder, would have lost a lot of the impact it had if I'd continued that game as intended by the designers. This is a unique artistic experience that could only arise because of my ability to leave the game unfinished. So obviously I'm far from the only one who's made their own experience out of a video game, of course. In the book The Legend of Zelda and Philosophy, I link Therefore I Am. That is the name of the book, look it up. Tony Filella writes about how they leave their Legend of Zelda games unfinished right at their final fights, because at that point they've gotten all they wanted out of the game. For Tony, the experience ends in a way the game devs didn't write for, with obvious loose threads, but they prefer this ending to the ones the games are programmed with. While I'm citing a book, I want to point out that books are also an interactive medium in a way. You have to keep actively reading for the story to continue for yourself, and you can at any time put the book down the same way you can put down the controller of a game and end the experience there. In the Doctor Who episode, The Angels Take Manhattan, yes, I'm citing Doctor Who now, the 11th Doctor says that he always rips out the last page of any book because he doesn't want it to truly end. Using less destructive means, anyone can share in this experience by refusing to read the ending of any book as well. Not that you would need to be restricted to only stopping on the last page. Say your favorite character is about to die. Stop reading and you can imagine that they made it out okay. Everything seems resolved, but there's 200 pages left. Stop there, and that can be the true ending for you. See, artists have a lot of say in their art in any medium, sure, but that control is largely in what it is you experience, and you can claw back some of that control by deciding for yourself how much of something you experience. And this goes beyond games and even books, too. Suppose you see a headline like, "The world is under attack by the woke mob." You can choose to end your engagement with the article there, and go on with your life holding on to the experience of feeling like some vague woke other is the cause of all the problems in the world. You can engage only with media that reflects your already held ideals, not look up any sources when people reference the kind of people you dislike, and all that. In this way, you can craft a whole worldview by selectively choosing when to disengage with art and media. So that got a lot deeper than I expected it to when I first had the idea to talk about this. I hope it was still interesting enough, though. If you only watched part of this essay before choosing to disengage, I do wonder what your personally crafted experience of it was. Thanks, bye.